Thanks for joining me today. So today I'm just going to look at 5 more different businesses and look at how they can perhaps beat their businesses that are local. We'll look at some of the things they're doing well, some of the things they're doing wrong. So particularly what this is you've asked me to look at your industry or your business area in your area alone. And so without looking at your particular business, I'm going to look at your competitors' businesses and then try and give you some guidance as to what you can do to beat them. So thanks for joining me. So I'm Zane from Zanet Design, and I help businesses grow on the internet. One of the things in particular that local businesses are finding at the moment that's really helpful is having a good presence on Google My Business. So what I've done over the last few months in particular is concentrated on how can you look at your competitors and then improve on what they're doing so that you get found when people search in your area for your business. So what I'm going to do today is look at some of those well-known businesses and some of your competitors too. So if you want me to review your area, then make sure you comment below, tell me the type of business it is and also the area in which your business is in. And then I'll, on my next video, hopefully use one of yours as an example. So let's jump into the 5 that I chose from last month.
So the first one is a cab service in India, and just looking here we've got obviously quite a lot of competition. So what can we learn from these ones? Well, just clicking here you notice they have no website, so that would be kind of a case of they're missing out on getting traffic to their website, but at the same time it doesn't really support the fact that they're wanting to help their customers find out more information about what their service consists of. So majority of these do have websites. This one again hasn't got a website. So that's one of the things that I'd always suggest is look at your competitors, see what they're doing well. So why does Gokana come out number 1? So let's just see if there's anything there. Well, first of all, they've got a fair number of reviews. If you look at the rest of these down here, apart from classic cabs, the majority of these have a similar type of number of reviews. And 4.1, you always want above 4. About 4.5 is considered the best at the moment by Google. So having 5 is good, but actually 4.5 might be considered even better. So 41 reviews with 3.8 versus 16 reviews 4.1. There's not really a lot in it, but that's something to consider. What else can we notice about perhaps looking at this? So they've got no questions as such, but there are some questions here. See all questions. Let's just look at these. Self-drive car available and price platinum to Coodle Beach. I mean, they've not actually been given answers, so it'd be good if they were answered by the person who owns those. But looking at the pictures as well, there's not a lot of photos there. I don't think there's just a few, just a couple, so might be useful to get some more photos on there. But that's coming out number 1, so I think any competitor should be able to beat that. Really, that's not too difficult to beat. What would I do to perhaps help if you're one of these ones here and you've asked me to obviously check out your competition? What would I suggest you do? Well, I would suggest you look at this and just see what things are not doing so well. So you could have more photos, add some questions and answers, and maybe just ask for 1 or 2 more reviews than theirs, 16, which is quite good. They haven't replied to their reviews as well, so if you've got reviews and you reply to them, then that would be good as well. Let's just see if there's anything else here. So these guys have replied to their reviews, and sometimes just existing a bit longer, having more people asking questions, all these things help. Having a website with authority as well can make a big difference. So those are some of the things to look out for, but certainly images would be good to add to these ones. I think there's an easy way to get to number 1 there with just a few extra tricks. I think that could easily happen. So that's a cab service in India. Second one we're going to take is department stores in London, and just looking through this then. So if we go to, we were just looking through here, but yeah, number 1. So we've got department stores in London, and Peter Jones and Partners comes out as number 1. And what are they doing well? Well, they've got unbelievable amount of reviews, 1,500 reviews. We can see they've got live updates as well, which is always very smart. They've got answers to 100 questions there. Were these all answered? So they've all been given answers as well, which appears actually there's a few there that haven't, but the majority do seem to have answers. That's really helpful. So that's been done well. Photos, Looks like they've got a lot of really good photos. This is obviously a very popular department store. It's got a lot of photos, latest, inside. So they're using everything they can to help people to see, even videos as well. So those are all good things to do. I mean, of course, the competition for department stores in London is very heavy. So that's good as well to make sure that they've done that. Liberties obviously is again a very well-known store with excellent amount of ratings, questions and answers happening there, excellent photos. So again, that's doing really well. Harrods, of course, again very famous, and again surprisingly actually doesn't look like it's being given much attention. So that's perhaps something to be considered. Okay, let's just go for something a bit random. Let's go say 10 in, and let's see if we can find something a bit unusual. So what we've got here, wedding gallery, not really, but they've answering their reviews, so that's good. Barber, so lots of reviews there, nothing really outstanding. So it appears to me that the majority of these are pretty straightforward. Don't think there's anything there outstanding. I'll just take one more page, say number 3. Okay, so there you go, just looking to see if there's anything outstanding, but the competition obviously incredibly high on this one, so I suggest again that's going to be really difficult to come out top on such a competitive market, but some of these are doing pretty good. That's good with the products there as well that comes through. Popular Times comes through, good photos. So yeah, it's pretty much standard. So how can you stand out on this? It's going to be very, very difficult, I think, to do well on that area. We're going to take the next one then, cell phones, and this is a repair shop in Texas. So there's a lot of competition here again for this type of thing. The majority of these look like they're all doing quite well. They've got quite good ratings, 110 ratings. This is number 1. Let's see what we can do here. So okay, so why is this number 1? Because it doesn't have answers. It's got poor reviews on some occasions. Why does this make number 1? 110 reviews and quite a lot of not so good ones as well. But it's got lots of images, answers to questions. So this is probably one of the things that I think I've often suggested you consider, is that sometimes Google My Business reviews isn't just about what's there and what you can physically see, but it's all to do with the branding behind it. So if we go to the website, let's see what it's like. So that's interesting. That has a fault on their website. Just try the domain. Okay, and I was just checking this domain, so I don't know this at all, but if I do a check on the domain authority is 50, and that's really, really high. That's a huge amount of 2.8 thousand linking root domains. Ranking of keywords, 11,000. So this is considered a very popular domain and has great linking to it, and I think that's how this is doing so well. So if we go back to where we were, so I've got a feeling this is probably because of its authority is number 1 here. Look into iRepair. Again, it just seems a very competitive market. Now this is really good. Request a quote. So they've got that in there. They've got some comments in here. So this looks like it's up and coming really. It looks like it's going to continue. It's answering questions. They're doing everything they can to do the right things here. And I think Google will over time reward those that do make more of an effort to do the right things as well. Okay, let's move on to our next one, which is an architect in California. So again, let's look at it. So just straight away I noticed that there's very few with any ratings. So I would have thought that this is number 1 and has no ratings. So it doesn't look like, so this is a non-competitive market that I think one rating here, 5 stars. So what I would suggest is the person that contacted me to say review this area, what I suggest is immediately just get some ratings from your clients. Make sure they're obviously relatively good and they're genuine ratings. And I think that you could quite easily get further up. It's not to say number one's based on ratings alone, and a lot of people get that wrong. But look at this. This is number one, and it's got no images. It's got a Facebook profile connected, but it's got a website connected as well. But it doesn't answer questions, has no questions on it, has barely a photo, no reviews. If you add all those things together, then I don't think that's going to be too difficult to beat at all. So I'd imagine that, see, this has got photos, but no reviews. This has got one review and photos. This is likely to gradually move up over time if it continues to do the things it's doing. And it responds. So that's really good. Wouldn't write in capitals because that's considered shouting, so perhaps avoid that if you can. But yeah, I mean, this hasn't got business hours, no website. This hasn't really got anything at all. And it's what, 5th? So if you're an architect in California, I would suggest that you just follow some of my videos that I've put out in the last few months. Go to beginners even. I've got intermediates as well if you need it. Just follow those tutorials and just do exactly the suggestions on there. And I think you'll gradually just go up the rankings to number one because there's no competition in that area. Okay, HVAC contractors in San Jose, California is my next one. And looking at this then, so let's just take a few here. So this is good. It's got request a quote filled out, which means they've got the app downloaded. If you haven't done that, then there's a good video that I've put there. Got questions and answers as well, but that's not really a chat. So I don't know. Maybe there's more to that. Okay, so it just continued down a line. So that's good. They're answering questions here. That's really good. So that will kind of help get it to number one. They've got products as well, which is really important to add. I've got a tutorial out this week about adding products. So if you haven't done that, then I'll show you how to do that. Some good photos here. So they've done well with that. Okay, so why is this number one? Let's see. So it's got a couple of reviews, which is a lot less than number two. What is it doing well here then? So it's got a lot of photos. It's got some good reviews. So it's strange, isn't it? So sometimes it can just be that maybe it's the website. Maybe it's been going longer. Maybe it's been established longer. Maybe that there's external things that we're not seeing here. So it could be that they've got links on Facebook that are really strong and link through. It could be that their branding's been around for 20 years and people know it. It could be that people were looking for Valley Mechanical Corporation. And they know what they're looking for, so they come through to it. It could be that the website is very authoritative. Let's just see how that stands up. So we'll go to the website, and that then goes through to another website. So that's not even got that. So that's a bit strange. So there's always that mystery, isn't there, with Google My Business, where you can't. There's no definite logic into why something makes it to number one. I mean, this for me looks excellent. It's got all these extra products on here, and it's got appointments here, but then it doesn't have the reviews that you'd expect. That's got 20 reviews. That's good. 21 here. Request a quote. You know, if it was me, I would just go through the top 10. And see which each one's doing well. So these are doing well with the request a quote. Others are doing well with products. Others are doing well by answering questions. Others are doing well with reviews. And I would just make sure I'm number one on all those things. And I won't then be surprised if you then go up to the top as well. So that would be what I suggest. I just thought as a bit of fun, let's just I did a tower in Pisa, Italy, see what comes up, which obviously you'd expect Leaning Tower of Pisa, and thought, what do they do? How is it different there? So buy tickets, that's interesting. So you can, if you own a landmark, you can have a buy ticket, which is cool. So if I go through to that, I can reserve tickets as well. So it's very smart. What else? So you notice here, this is smart as well. What materials is it built in? So you've got this kind of Wikipedia built in part for some really famous landmarks as well. So you get the heights, and so you're not going to get this for your business, but you will get it for a well-known business. You notice that Popular Times comes up. They've got Facebook and reviews, and they've got reviews here as well, and so on. And view previous updates on Google. So here you've got, again, they're using all sorts of ways in which you can post as well. So they've got some posts there. So it's always interesting to see what others are doing. So what I would suggest you do is look at your competitors. So going back to these ones, look at your competitors, see what they're doing well. implement that. So there'll be my challenge, is go for your top 10, make a note of all the things they're doing you're not, make a note of all the things they're beating you on and you're not, and then make it your challenge in the next month to then do all those things and to see if you can at least get close to beating them. Hopefully that's been a useful review. Thanks for being with me and subscribing with me, and I look forward to sharing some more of my experience with you in the next video.